Well, as you saw in the little blurb there a second ago, yeah, we had this huge earthquake just a few days ago, and that was on Tuesday. I'm not always sure of the days, but I'm pretty sure that was Tuesday, October 15th, and now it is Friday. And it's just now, this is my first day of things kind of returning back to normal, so I wanted to catch you up on just basically what happened and, you know, what happened right after. Of course, the earthquake, I was asleep. It came in at about, just about 8:15, and I was dead asleep. And next thing I know, I'm bouncing around, literally, not just a little bit. I was literally bouncing around on the bed, just the whole room was shaking. I have a brick house, and it was just really going nuts. My stand-up closet, it's like a prefab kind of thing. There's two of them. There's a smaller injection molded one, which I keep my clothes in, and then there's a huge wardrobe made out of wood that's reinforced and all that. And as soon as I figured out, I'm from Southern California, I knew this was an earthquake. I knew it wasn't thunder or anything else. So immediately I got up and I stood within the big, tall, 6-foot wardrobe and just held on. And it just really got nuts. 7.2 magnitude earthquake. Epicenter was roughly about 20 miles, 20 to 30 miles from my actual location. So I was definitely feeling it. It kind of was a struggle just to even stay standing. And that went on. And after, being used to earthquakes, the first thing I do is I start counting seconds. And because pretty much once it goes beyond about 20 seconds, you got to start worrying about the walls building enough momentum that they're going to cave in. Plus, you take into account the magnitude of the earthquake. And so I was just going to accept that with the construction, the way it's done oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes here in the Philippines, I was just expecting one or two of the walls to literally just cave in. And I was keeping an eye on which wall it was going to be. As it turns out, I checked out my house afterwards. There's not even a crack. There's no structural damage to my place at all. I was very fortunate. So then the earthquake subsided, and I checked, and yes, right away the electric was out. The electric was gone. Also the water. Now the water is out every morning from like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. So at first I didn't worry about that too much. Everybody in the village here uses water. They all get up at 5 in the morning. It doesn't affect me too much because I sleep in. But anyways, as it turned out, I would end up being without water for 2 days. Same with the electric. No electric for 2 days. So right after the earthquake, some of the neighbors came out, and the ones I talked to, they were just really freaked out. I was kind of impressed. I was like, okay, now this was a big earthquake. I've been through a lot of earthquakes. And I thought, the first thing I thought of was the Northridge earthquake in California. And I knew this was definitely a huge earthquake. So the locals were pretty wigged out. They're not used to it on a regular basis, at least not out here in Visayas, the neighbors I have here. So I just kind of calmed them down a little bit, told them to expect aftershocks, and we had aftershocks even as we were talking. Turned out we had up to 2.5 days later. That was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, actually all the way until Thursday night, last night, been having aftershocks. There's been like over 1,000 aftershocks. Now most of them have been less than 2.0, but nevertheless you do feel them. So then, with no electric, no water, I had some water on reserve, so I was able to take a shower. And then I decided, well, there's not a whole lot you can do in the province without power or water other than swing in a hammock and read. And I already read all the books I have here. So I decided to go out into town and start shooting video. So I've shot video. I'm still, at this moment, uploading all the video that I took. and I took quite a bit of it, different places. Some of them you may have seen on television. Some of the locations here on Bohol, that churches that caved in and that kind of thing. I'm still thinking to go and survey some of the damage that happened in Laun, but I know it's really crazy there, and I just don't want to end up in the way. Plus, you can only go so far. The bridge is out. But anyway, so that morning, I decided to jump on the scooter, pack some water, backpack, and headed into town. I stopped at all the major places. I stopped at the pier and the church in Dawis and the church in Baclayon. Meanwhile, I was looking for food. Everything in town was closed. It was really a weird situation. I expected they were going to be closed, but everything was closed. Everything. Not even the little mom and pop shops were open. Everything was closed. So, went to the bank. That was a waste of time. The ATMs were offline, no electricity. Fortunately, I had about 1,000 pesos with me. It's kind of like about $25 worth of buying power. And I had already gassed up the scooter the night before, I'd been out riding, so I gassed it up before I went to bed. So I had gas, I had some money. I just couldn't find a place to buy food. I went all over the place, and the bakeries, I don't know why the bakeries, but the bakeries, they were open, but all they had was pastries and regular bread. But it was better than nothing. I had chocolate cake, and they had some ice cream that was defrosting, so I bought that.